Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a one-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
At the Home Depot, the holidays have arrived.
And so is all my family. So I'm working on keeping up with the laundry.
The Home Depot is here to help with Black Friday savings up to 40% off select appliances. Spend less time doing laundry with smart, efficient appliances from Samsung, ranked #1 in customer satisfaction.
Perfect. Less laundry time means more family time.
Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances at the Home Depot. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC and your daily reminder that the Reds are top of the league. Daily reminder as well to support my campaign to make Try to Sound again. Hashtag MTSA. We're going to print some hats, red with white lettering. Haven't seen anyone go that route before. I think it might work. On to Liverpool news. The debate around whether or not Mo Salah should have stopped and spoken to media continues. Jamie Carragher last night on Sky Sports making Mo out to be selfish and almost if pre-coordinated. Dominic King, the racing correspondent for the Daily Mail, formerly the Merseyside beat writer for their football coverage, released an article saying basically the same thing. This is as if they'd spoken beforehand. I'm not really feeling the mood to listen to a gentleman who, as Liverpool Football Club, were heading towards administration and were in the process of being sold in October of 2010, very quietly got himself the biggest contract of his career from Christian Purslow and Ian Ayre before new owners could come in and veto any such contract. Not really feeling like we should be listening to somebody who acts in such an underhanded way, but he likes to give his opinion anyway. I don't see anything wrong with what Mo did, frankly. I don't at all. I think Liverpool use the media when it suits them. I think players have the right to do the same thing. Mo is performing at an incredible level on the pitch, 12 goals, 10 assists already this season. So he's doing his talking out there. Now he's more than eligible to do his talking anywhere else. If he wasn't playing well, it would be different. If he wasn't playing well, it would be different. If he'd ever shown signs of wanting to leave or wavering in commitment, it would be different. But he never has. From the minute he walked into the building in 2017 until now, he's been the model professional, and perhaps if local journalists hadn't spent their time engulfed in the rectums of Jordan Henderson and James Milner, they might have looked around and seen that the real model professional, the real standard setter at Liverpool has been Mo Salah. From a performance level, from a preparation level, from a maintenance level. Like, have you seen the nick the fella is in? That's your model professional. These same media members, including Jamie Carragher and, of course, Dominic King, had nothing negative to say when Jordan Henderson ran crying to the media a couple of years ago because he wasn't getting the contract he wanted. Crying to media that included Dominic King, who, of course, helped ghostwrite his autobiography, you understand. They had nothing to say when that happened. But when Mo goes to the press after a game and says, I haven't received a contract offer yet, I'd really like to stay. You see how I'm playing. I'm going to play at the top level for a number of years. At which point Virgil walks up. He says, me and this guy, as in we want to be here together playing at this level for years to come. There's nothing selfish about that. Nothing selfish about it at all. Mo was perfectly within his rights to do what he did. Just as the club would be perfectly within their rights to leak to a journalist that, you know, they were maybe happy to give Mo a 2-year contract, but maybe were unsure about a 3rd year. Oh, they did that. They did that in the summer, didn't they? But that wasn't selfish at all. That was the club looking after their interests. Because the club are allowed to look after their interests. And certain players are allowed to look after their interests, but Mo's not allowed to look after his interests. Got it. It's a solid point you're making there, lads. It really is such a bunch of nonsense. We've had a little bit of bad news today. Kostas Tsimikas is facing a short spell on the sidelines after picking up an injury in training. He's not expected to be available for tomorrow night's game or for the Manchester City game. Obviously was not in the squad for the Southampton game. We've obviously then got Newcastle and Everton coming off the back of City. So it is a difficult run of games, and you would have liked to have Kostas available, considering he has been considerably better than Robbo this year. Not great by any stretch, but he's been considerably better than Robertson, who looked very poor against Southampton. It would have been nice to have had Kostas, even if it was 2 games each over the next 4. Say Kostas plays Real and Newcastle, and Robbo plays City and Everton. That would have been preferable. We do have the option of Joe Gomez. So Joe could absolutely slot in there, though Arna has shown no real want to do that as yet. We'll have to see what he decides on. We got good news, though. Trent is back in training. Always a positive. A 26-man squad is ready to take on Real Madrid, and that includes Trent, which is big. Having the best right back in the world back in training is big. Now, I don't imagine he starts against Real. I would suggest maybe he gets 10 minutes off the bench and then maybe starts against City, which is by far the more important game. Bradley did not have a good game against Southampton, but you might just have to roll with him. Mbappe has been drifting to the left, which isn't ideal, but we do have the best channel defender in the world sat behind him in Ibu Konate, who can help him out. And maybe Bradley just has to be a little bit more cautious in what he does, a little bit more considered in when he attacks and how he attacks and how much he commits to going forward. Because as great as Ibu is, we don't want to leave him on an island against Mbappe. You don't want to leave anybody on an island against Mbappe. So Bradley needs to be a bit more conservative. Maybe allow Robbo, or I assume it'll be Robbo that plays left back, to get forward a bit more and maybe tuck just a little bit more, because we have to be wary of the threat of Mbappe. But look, the bottom line is we just need to get through this game. We just need to get through this game. The more important games are City, Newcastle and Everton. We have 12 points already in the Champions League. We likely need another 5 or 6 to be certain of a top 8 finish. We have 3 very winnable games off the back of this one. So I don't see any reason for us to really get too worked up on the whole thing. It would be great to win. It's not even a bump in the road if we don't. We just move on. We focus in on City. We go and we beat them, go 11 points clear of them, and then start working our way through the rest to get to the new year. And if you can get to the new year holding that advantage, 11 on City, 9 on everybody else, then it might be time to just get a little bit excited. Not too excited now. And I see you sitting there getting very excited with yourself. Stop it. Stop it now. You can get a little bit excited if we get to the new year with, let's say, a 7-point lead on everybody. I think 7 points as a worst case scenario is fine. Don't really want to be less than that. Would be ideal if it was more than that. Federico Chiesa also took part in training. He had an individual warm-up with the fitness coaches and then took part in training. Now, it's unlikely he'll be considered ready for the week, but it's absolutely great to have him back in training, and it's a good sign that he's on his way. Ali is doing individual training, not working with the rest of the goalkeepers, so again, he's not going to play tomorrow night, but you would hope that maybe he's ready for the weekend. James McConnell, Isaac Mabea, and Jayden Danns also working with the first team as part of their training session. The goalkeepers who trained: Kelleher, Yaros, Davies, and Orzinski. The defenders: Virgil, Ibu, Kwanzaa, Gomez, Trent, Robbo, Bradley, and Mabaya. Midfielders: Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Jones, Elliott, Endo, Morton, and McConnell. And then the forwards were Salah, Nunes, Gakpo, Diaz, Chiesa, and Dan. So promising stuff with Trent and Chiesa, obviously, and Jayden Danns back as well, though I doubt we're going to see him for us this season. I would imagine he goes on loan in January, probably to Plymouth, where he was meant to go in the summer to work under Rooney. But it's nice to have the kid back playing. You never like to see anybody get hurt, but especially a young player. We did also get some other bad news ahead of the weekend. Let's see. Anfield sector. I saw a tweet this earlier. For the weekend's game is about the officials. Oh yeah, here we go. So the referee will be Chris Kavanagh, who is from Ashton-under-Lyne, which is in Greater Manchester. The assistant referees will be Lee Betts and Darren Cann. Darren Cann is one of the 2 best in the business, so you'd be happy to have him. Don't know much about Lee Betts. The 4th official will be Anthony Taylor. He is from Whitenshaw in Manchester, would you believe? And the VAR is Paul Tierney, who's from Wigan in Greater Manchester. So the 3 most important officials connected to this game are from Manchester or Greater Manchester. We're playing Manchester City. That seems problematic to me. Really does seem problematic to me. Like, there was a Premier League referee who wasn't allowed referee Liverpool games because he was from the Wirral, even though he was the biggest Tranmere fan anybody ever knew. He wasn't allowed referee us. He had all these boys from Manchester who, they might claim that they're not United fans or City fans. They frequently referee games between Liverpool and the Manchester clubs, or anybody and the Manchester clubs for that matter. It just seems a little bit problematic to me. Really does. You'd wonder how many of them are Alex Ferguson's kids. He seems like the type of fella who'd go around and fathered a bunch of referees, doesn't he? Fergie just gives you that kind of vibe that he might have 11 sons and 9 of them are referees. Yeah. Let's see, what else have we got? Fabio Carvalho's dad urges him to get out of new club 3 months after move. So it was on Instagram, I think he posted a comment urging his son to leave Brentford. It's fair to say it's not going great for Fabio at Brentford. But look, he's a young player. They have a lot of attacking players, and he doesn't really fit how they play. It was an odd signing at the time, but it is what it is. What else have we got? Vinicius Jr. set to miss out in the Real game. Tchouaméni also a doubt, and we know Carvalho and Militao are out because they tore their ACLs. What else was I? Oh yeah, Michael Owen. So Michael Owen has made some comments about Trent. And I think what Michael was trying to do was advise him to sign a new contract, suggesting to him about what you lose when you leave Liverpool. And very few people know this more than Michael Owen. I mean, in recent years, a lot of players have left us, gone elsewhere. Many of them have done well. Many of them have not. But very few of them have left with the good graces of the fans. So if we work our way backwards, Coutinho tried to push his way out in the summer, tried to engineer a move, came back, played well, left, didn't leave with everybody's well wishes, and Liverpool fans kind of enjoyed watching him not thrive at Barca. He did go on and win a bunch of league titles and a Champions League with Bayern Munich and made a ton of money. So ultimately, he probably is happy enough that it worked out well for himself, but his career did not excel on the pitch. He won his medals, but he won most of them as a squad player.
Give sport with gifts from Nike. From the retro Vomero 5 sneaker designed with Zoom Air cushioning to fleece engineered with lightweight warmth and next-level comfort, we have the perfect gift for any athlete on your list. Shop now at your nearest Nike store.
Time to move? Skip the hassles of selling during the holiday season and sell your home directly to Open Door. Request an all-cash offer in minutes, close, and get paid in days. You can even pick your close date so you can move after New Year's. Start your move at opendoor.com or download the Open Door app. Open Door is represented by Open Door Brokerage Inc., license 02061130 in California, and Open Door Brokerage LLC in its other markets. Terms and conditions apply.
When you share your food, you share your heart. So what's on your table this holiday season? Save on your festive feast at Kroger with delicious deals on all the holiday classics. Or wow the crowd with something new, like a quinoa stuffed butternut squash. It's sure to add a pop of color to your spread. How about a sweet potato casserole with a crunchy oat streusel topping, made with care for the sweet tooth and the savory tooth? With Kroger, fill your table with love and watch as your guests' hearts get as full as their bellies. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Before him, Raheem Sterling obviously went to City. Certainly did not leave with the well wishes of the fan base, much of that because of the actions of Aaron Rodgers and the lies that they spun, and the actions of certain members of the media, one who used to work for the Echo and now works for an online publication that may or may not be owned by the New York Times, but we won't say any more about that. He went to Man City, he won a bunch of league titles, did very, very well, established himself as one of the best players in the league. Went to Chelsea, struggled, now at Arsenal, not doing great, and Liverpool fans are taking quite a lot of joy out of the fact that he hasn't done well in the last couple of years. I'm trying to use that as an example of why grass isn't greener when you leave Liverpool, even though he did very well at Man City. Before that, of course, was Suarez. I think for the most part, he left with everybody's well wishes and people were happy for him to get his Barcelona move and whatever. I don't, people had some issues with some of his behaviour, of course, but I don't think anybody really held it against him that he went to Barcelona. We were crap. He had carried us to almost winning a league title, despite the fact that we were probably a 7th or 8th best team without him. And so I think he left with everybody's well wishes. Before that, Mascherano, again, didn't leave with people's well wishes. Alonso strangely did, even though there was very little difference in what he did and what Mascherano did. But before that then is Michael Owen. And before him is McManaman. Both of them went to Real Madrid and they had two very different experiences. McManaman went to Real and he won 2 Champions Leagues. Owen went to Real, struggled to establish himself and left after a year. Neither of them left with positive opinions from the fan base. McManaman, because he ran down his contract and left on a free, having turned down a move to Barcelona that would have netted the club a huge amount of money. Owen ran down his contract. We sold him late in 2024. I think he had 11 months, but just under 11 months left in his deal, and we got a bad deal for him. Like that, but that's on the club. Owen didn't negotiate the transfer. The club did, and the club made a mess of it. People took great delight in Owen struggling to establish himself at Real, even though he did play very well. They took delight in him failing at Newcastle. They took umbrage, obviously, with him going to United, and then they took great glee in him going to Stoke and basically becoming an irrelevance. With McManaman, I think people gained a grudging respect for the fact that he'd gone to Spain, changed his game, changed his position, and won 2 Champions Leagues, but it certainly killed any real goodwill between him and the fan base. And it is such a shame, because they should be seen as 2 of our best ever players. They rarely get brought up in those conversations. McManaman does from time to time. I bring him up all the time. Others do as well, but many people just ignore him. Owen never gets brought up. Even if I mention him or someone else mentions him, you're never suggesting that he would start in our best ever 11 or even make a bench, but you throw him in as a cursory mention. But you wouldn't fight his corner on it. And it's not just because he left and went to Real. It was before that as well. It was the fact that he was always England's Michael Owen rather than Liverpool's Michael Owen. Like Robbie Fowler was Liverpool's Robbie Fowler. Steve McManaman was Liverpool's Steve McManaman. Michael Owen was England's Michael Owen. That's just how it was. And while he didn't start that narrative, he certainly fed into it, and he certainly didn't do anything to dampen it down. But to hear Michael Owen talk about how he doesn't really feel welcome at Anfield, and I saw someone tweet, Michael Owen in his career played for 5 clubs and none of them care about him. It made me feel sad for him. And look, Michael Owen is rich beyond belief. He doesn't need me to feel sad for him. But as a football fan, it does make me feel sad that this kid who was a one-off talent, like a once-in-a-generation type of talent, broke through at Liverpool, took the world by storm, domestically and then on the international stage at the World Cup, at 18 years of age, going to the World Cup in France and performing the way he did and scoring the goal that he did against Argentina. Like, he was Mbappe before Mbappe. People seem to have forgotten how great Michael Owen was. Michael Owen was a phenom. He was absolutely insanely good. He scored 18 goals in a Premier League season that began when he was 17. He didn't turn 18 until just before Christmas that year. He scored 23 in all competitions, then went and did exactly the same the following year, but in less games. And then he got hurt and he wasn't quite the same when he came back, but he developed more as a player. He wasn't quite the same player, but he was a better player. 24 and 46, 28 in 43, 28 and 54, 19 and 38 in his last season. Easily would have breezed past the 30 mark, or the 20 mark if not for injuries. He was a phenom for us. 158 goals in 297 games. You look at what he did for England and how he was like, he was going to not only break Bobby Charlton's record, he was going to obliterate it. Rooney wouldn't have caught him. Kane probably would have by now. But what Michael Owen had done for England before he left us was insane. After he left us, Yeah, he had a couple of good years. 05, he had a good year. 07, he had a good year. He made one appearance for England after 2007. He was 28 years of age. He was an afterthought then for England. But, like, he won a Ballon d'Or. Michael Owen won a Ballon d'Or. It's beyond comprehension that a guy that won a Ballon d'Or can just be an afterthought. Fair enough, some of the guys, like, let's say Belanov, the Russian who won it in 86, a lot of people wouldn't have been aware of him because of what was going on in the world at the time. And also it's, nearly 40 years ago. Michael Owen was playing in the Premier League in 2001 when he won his Ballon d'Or. The winners since, R9, Nedved, Shevchenko, Ronaldinho, Cannavaro, Kaká, Cristiano, Messi, Cristiano, Modric, Messi, Benzema, Messi, and Rodri. Like, all of those players will be remembered. Even the ones before him: Figo, Rivaldo, Zidane, Ronaldo, Zammer, Weah, Stoichkov, Baggio, Van Basten, Papan, Mateus, Van Basten, Hullet. Like, he literally stands alone as the one who won it from one of the major leagues, that there isn't a club that clings to him. Like, even Belanov, like, we may not talk about him as much, but Dynamo Kiev fans adore him. Soviet fans adore him. They still talk about him. We don't, because we're not familiar with him as a player. Same maybe with Blocken, who won it in 75. But again, Dynamo Kiev fans adore him, talk about him all the time. Soviet Union fans talk about him all the time. Michael Owen is the one that stands out, that even though we are clearly the club most connected to Michael Owen, he played the longest for us, he played the most for us, scored the most goals for us, our fans don't connect with him. Every other Ballon d'Or winner has a group of fans at a club that they played for who would go to war for him if they had to. But Owen doesn't have that. And that's why it's sad. Like, it just is. The ground that he electrified not all that long ago. I know it's a long time for some people. It's not all that long ago. The ground that he got people off their feet and excited them at a time when we weren't always particularly good when Owen was at the club. I think that's part of why he would leave, is that he was frustrated with the club's inability to put a team that could win a Premier League or a Champions League around him and Stevie. Remember, Stevie almost left the following year. Even though we won the European Cup, Stevie looked around and thought, this was kind of a fluke. I don't trust them to build on this and go in the right direction, so now I'm going to leave. Like Michael left, like McManaman left. I don't blame Owen for wanting to leave. I think we should have been more sympathetic to the fact that he was a world-class player and we were wasting him. It is, and I think if we hadn't won the European Cup in 05, that may have been more of the view in that period of time anyway. But the fact that we did win it, most people's first reaction was to turn around and laugh at Michael Owen. It's a shame. It's just a shame. And I know he's a bit annoying and like his personality grates on people and all of that. That's all fair enough. But like, I do feel like the club, the fan base should be a bit more forgiving with Michael Owen. I really do. I know he went and he played for United. I understand that. But like, he gave us far more than he ever gave them. He went there to try and win a league title. Nothing more, nothing less. He would have joined us over them if we tried to sign him. That, he would have come back to us when he went to Newcastle if we wanted. He didn't want to leave. He wanted the club to be more ambitious. And once he did go, he wanted to come back pretty much straight away. So there's plenty of blame that should be attributed to the club and not to him. He played the hand he ended up being dealt. But he doesn't deserve to still be excommunicated all this time later because he went and played for United for a couple of years. Like, he played there 3 years. He played 52 games. He barely played his last year there. He only really played for them for 2 seasons. He won a league title. He won a league cup. I guarantee you, his FA Cup, League Cups, and UEFA Cup with us mean far more than that league title and that League Cup. I guarantee you they do. And I guarantee if you said to Michael Owen, you give everything back, including your Ballon d'Or, but you get to win the European Cup at Liverpool, I bet you he'd do it if he could do things over again. I bet you he would. I think we just need to be a bit more forgiving with him. I get that he can be annoying. I do. I understand that completely. But it's 20 years since he left. It's 20 years. We've won 2 European Cups and a league title since. We should be more forgiving to him, to McManaman. McManaman doesn't get the same type of shit that Owen gets. But he's still not welcome back into the cool kids club. And they should be by now. Like, they really should be by now. Fowler left too. Fowler left too. Gerrard tried to leave. There's Carragher quotes that went round from, I think it was 2009, talking about contracts, saying he'd leave and go elsewhere if Liverpool weren't going to give him a new contract. Carragher had almost left years earlier because he wasn't first choice. It happens. It's just circumstances. But McManaman and Owen are as good as we've had. They're academy lads that came through. They should be put on a pedestal. When we really want to talk about the players we've produced, your Trents and your Carraghers and your Gerrards, we should, and your Fowlers, obviously. McManaman and Owen should absolutely slide right into that conversation. They really should, and they don't, and it's not right. It's not right. So that's where I'll leave you today. Do check out AnfieldIndex.com, though. Lots of new writing and lots of podcasts. There's a piece about Marmouche, a piece about Arne Slot, piece about Carragher talking nonsense, piece about Ornstein offering hope. Ornstein had some positive comments about the Salah situation, says he thinks it gets done. I wonder if that came from a certain Michael Edwards. Podcast-wise, we've got a new Scouted that we've recorded today that's out now. There is the Monday Lunchtime with Dave Davis and David Lynch. There is a new Scouser Tommies, Jim and Jay, so make sure you are on that one. And we have absolutely loads coming this week. So, yesterday, there was Media Matters. There was a Tactics Pod, which is on YouTube, so make sure you go check that out with Daniel Rhodes. There is the press conference pod coming today. There's a transfer show tonight with Dave and Trev. Tomorrow we'll have Raw, and there's also the Gags Tandon show on YouTube, so check that one out. There's an Under Pressure coming tomorrow, a Red Alert, another Media Matters, and a Euro Incision. Friday, there's another press conference pod, another Scouser Tommies, and a Moby on the spot. Saturday is a Fatigue Index. It's the next in Cyberunlish's series on ACLs. And then Sunday, you're getting Raw, the Gags Tandon show, the Final Whistle, which is Nina and Ben Pescod, which is really good. Go listen to that. There's a one from this past weekend, if you haven't heard it. And we've got a couple more to come. We are providing the content. We are providing the content, and we are doing so in the hope that you will join the campaign to make Trev sound again. Share the hashtag, buy the hats, and tweet your Christmas trees too, because that's key to bring Christmas joy into his life. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.